Hello everyone. Today we are going to do very important part of conversation, grammar and writing, that is verbs. If you are a non-English learner, then you might be wondering what a verb is. Verb are action words, all those words that do something or that shows that an action is done, that are verbs, like play, sit, dance, move, talk, eat. All these are verbs. But when we write in a sentence, when we speak in a conversation, any sentence, can you imagine a sentence without verb? It's not possible, because any sensible sentence, any sentence that makes sense is having a verb. Verb is an indispensable part of any sentence, whether in writing or whether in speaking. Today we are going to talk about those confused words which often make our writing unpleasant or which often make our speaking wrong, inappropriate, because we use wrong words in wrong places instead of using something else that looks like very similar to the verb. So let's remove all kind of confusions with the verbs, yes, and find out what is the actual meaning of these two similar looking verbs and know where to use which kind of verb. Starting with the very first one, make versus do. We often think that make and do, these are two verbs that can be interchanged. No, they cannot be interchanged. Make and do, no matter how similar they look, but make means something that you are creating from a physical object. It means preparation. For example, my dad likes making food. Yes? So your making means you are preparing or creating something. But when we say do, that means any job, any task assigned, or just an activity that is told to be done, a repetitive task, that is do. Yes? Like, I don't like doing my homework, or I have to do the homework. Something that is repetitive, something that is just a verb, just an activity, that is do. So now you know the difference between make and do, and you know that if you mean to write any preparation, anything that's in process, you will be using the verb make, and for any task or any job that's just an activity and that is repetitive in nature, you will be using the verb do. Next confusion remains with the verb refuse and deny. You find that both are verbs, of course, but refuse and deny is also very commonly confused verbs. The difference is, refuse is when you turn down any offer or any proposal, right? I refuse to go to the cinema. That means somebody offered me to go to a cinema to watch a movie and I turned down the offer. So when I turned down the offer, I said no, I refused. Yes, but similar looking is deny. When you deny something, that means you do not follow what is said. You just do not follow what is being declared. So you are denying. Yes, I cannot deny the truth that she is my fiancée. Deny something that is true and you are not ready to accept. Yes, I cannot deny that she is the one in my life. Deny. Yes, totally going against that. That is deny. So now you know the difference between deny and refuse. Next is say and tell. This is also a commonly confused verb. Say and tell, and many times we confuse this verb when in conversation mostly. But very clearly, say means when you say something, and tell is you tell something to someone. That is tell. Yes, both are verbs, but I said that does not require an object. And I told him. That means you are telling about something to someone. So it definitely requires an object. That is one difference between say and tell. Yes, remember, you say something but you someone about something. That means you are narrating something, you are informing something, you are instructing something, then you are going to use tell. Otherwise, say. I said, he said, you said. Say, as simple as that. Say means just say, and tell means telling someone about something. Okay? Next is stay and remain. Now, stay and remain, both these verbs can be used many times interchangeably. Yes, it can use in place of each other. But the proper use is when we say stay, that means to remain in that fixed place. Stay. If you live any place permanently, stay out of your home. Stay at one place. But when you say remain, that means others have left and you have to stay back. That means remain. Yes, when you remain, you have to stick to that place. Remain. Remain where you are. Yes, cannot say stay where you are. Stay means living permanently and remain may be temporary. So that is a main difference between stay and remain. Yes, sit and seat. The next pair of confused words. Obviously, sit and seat has a difference, a very big difference. That is, sit is a verb and seat is a noun and a verb. Yes, it is a verb also and a noun. Depends on its use. When we say sit, obviously, only sit, or we say you sit down. Yeah, she sat beside me. In all these contexts, sit means taking your place, and that is definitely a verb. But when you say find yourself a seat, find yourself a seat, there the seat is a noun. And when I say seat yourself, then seat is used as a verb. Obviously, the meaning is same as sit. Seat yourself, that means make yourself comfortable at that place, right? But seat is more commonly used as a noun. Yes, I hope that you're understanding what is the one main difference between these two confused words, and definitely next time you're going to be very careful not to use one verb when you actually mean to use the other one. Let's see the other pair of confused verbs. Next is shall and will. This is a very, very common mistake that most of us do in speaking also, in writing also. Not only us, but many of the learned people, the knowledgeable ones, also tend to make this mistake. It's not that the rules are not clear. It's already clearly given in all the grammar books. If you are a student, it has been mentioned in the rules. If you are a learner, an educator, you must have studied about it. You must be teaching about it. Your parents may or may not be knowing this. But the one main difference between shall and will in simple words is that shall is more polite than will. Yes, you use shall with the first person, and with the second and third person you use will every time. I shall do whatever you say. We shall overcome all our obstacles. I and we use shall. For other pronouns, other person pronouns, we use will. Yes, he will not go to the party. Here you are very sure. When you are very, very sure of anything, you are not going to use shall, you will be using will. Also, if you are making a promise, I will do it. That means that's kind of a promise. Even if you are not using the word promise, but the word will shows that it is a confirmed promise from your side. Yes, something that's going to happen in the future that can also be very well displayed by the word will. You can interpret it as will. And you can also use it in a question. Right? So shall is used with the first person, will is used with the second and third person. Preferably do not, again I am telling you, do not interchange both these, because shall is polite. So whenever you want to make a polite offer, polite advice, polite suggestions, prefer to use shall. And if you want to make a promise, if you are really determined to do something, if you are very sure of any certain statement, yes, then you go for will. Yes, we will win the match. Then will. Yes, shall I bring the water for you? Very polite. So for politeness, for all the modesty, for all the respect and the manners, use shall, and otherwise you can use will. Next is borrow versus lend. Yes, borrow and lend. Many times we get confused and we use both are just the opposites. When you borrow something, that means you are asking for something. You're taking something with a promise that you're going to return that thing to the owner as soon as possible. That is borrow. Lend means when you give something. Yes, again, when you give something with a promise that it's going to be returned to you as soon as possible. So borrow means you're taking something, and lend means you are giving up something with a promise to have it back very soon. Fine? Now the next is breath and breathe. Again, one is noun and one is verb. When you say breath, it is a noun. Breath means what you inhale and exhale. Yes? Same thing. If it is done in a form of action, I breathe. Also you see that the sound, the pronunciation of breath and breathe is different. When you say that I'm taking my breath or my breath is getting faster, then the breath is a noun. Yes, I cannot breathe. Yes, here the breathe is verb, and breathe means the action of inhaling and exhaling. Right? So it is very close in meaning, but one is noun and one is verb. That is one main difference between breath and breathe that ends in E. Be careful. Next is desert and desert. Desert and desert. The pronunciation itself shows clearly the difference between desert and desert. Yes, when you say desert and when you say desert, that is two different things. Totally different meaning, but we often get confused because we have almost the same spelling with only an extra S here. When there is a single S, that means it is desert. Yes? So when you say desert, this is like Sahara Desert, or it is any other desert, an arid region, a dry region, that is a desert. Okay? But when you say DESS, desert, that is actually a sweet meal, a compliment that you get after the meal. Fruits can be a good dessert after the meal, right? Dessert is something that you have a sweet thing after the meal, and dessert is something, some place, yes, totally barren, that is a dessert. Compliment and compliment. Again, here you will not find a lot of difference with the pronunciation. Compliment and compliment, both are said the same way. The difference is in the spelling and also in the meaning. When you say compliment, that is C-O-M-P-L-E-M-E-N-T, compliment. Yes, compliment goes with the word complete. That gives a complete meaning. Yes, the couple complement each other, makes each other complete. So that is a compliment. But when you really want to praise someone, that is a compliment with a I. Yes, if there is an I, that means that is praising that compliment. And when you want to complete something, that is a compliment. Okay, so what is a complement in the sentence? That means which word makes the sentence complete. That is complement with an E, and complement with an I means the praise you're getting or anything sort of. And you say thank you for the compliment if you are being praised. So that is an I. I hope the video was relevant for you, and you are definitely going to be very careful with all these confused words, since now you know what is the correct usage of all the verbs. Be careful, and if you want me to bring such informative videos, do not forget to subscribe to my channel Rukavita English, and drop in the comment box if you know any other confused words. Yes, and I'll be meeting you soon next week. Thank you for watching.